You are now in the mix with DJ K Swiss.
Put your money right, only get who the man. Put your money right, put your money right, put your money right, only get who the man though. Pile up the cash, then I give that money down. Who care? I don't care when I'm winning. Kid them whipping so fast and then the flipping. Fire, corporate fire, listen. Now every artist in there pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Come on. Put your money right, only get who the man though. Pile up the cash, then I do that money dance though.
Morning, Jake.
Hey, good morning, Ty.
You know what my takeaway is after watching videos like that?
What's
One, I have no ability to do anything like that. And two, the most important thing is that more DJs need to smile.
Yeah, they really should.
Yeah, it's like, the whole mean face. What I don't know.
Yeah,
The guy
it's the
was
battle scene.
He looked like he's having a good time. Like I've watched that video like 3 times now, and it's just like, dude's having a good time, and it shows. I love it.
Yeah, no, DJs need to smile. I agree, but most of us have that stinky DJ scratch face. Yeah,
I'm busy working. Don't
leave
bother
me
me.
alone. Yep, exactly.
Right. Well, let's get into it, man. I am excited. This day is finally here. For those of you who don't know, today is launch day for the RANE ONE MKII. So 2nd generation, lots of changes. We'll just put it out there right now that this is not available in black. So
nope.
Stop asking.
Hit up Jared at 12-inch skins.
We had to put an AdWords filter on our Google ads so it wouldn't charge us for clicks searching for RANE ONE Black. That was funny. Interesting, technical stuff that happens this morning. So, but if you're looking to get if you pick up a RANE ONE MKII and you don't like it as being white, get a hold of our buddy Jared over at 12-inch skins, and he will get you all sorted out. So you can make that controller standard DJ black. Not a problem at all. So
Jake, who knows? Maybe we'll flip the script. Usually we're releasing black editions, then releasing a white edition later. Who knows? Maybe it'll be like a Twilight Zone. Yeah. But in the meantime, I wouldn't count on that. Just hit up Jared.
Right, exactly. Hit up Jared. He's your guy. Jake, I'm going to let you just get into it. You are all set up and ready to go, and this has been something you've been working on a long time. So let's hit it, man. Yeah,
and I'll try to keep it. I'll try to keep it a little bit unique because I've been spending my morning watching all the review videos that we're really grateful for, and it's just hitting a lot of the same stuff over and over, which is great, and then sprinkling in a little of the reviewer's personal take. But I'm going to try to just maybe sprinkle in some tips and tricks and little things that I've discovered with the RANE ONE MKII because go ahead, Ty.
Oh, I love it. That's great. No, we're all about unique and individual. So let's hear it.
Yeah, let's jump in. So we typically, I'm on the marketing team in music and for the DJ brands. And so how the procedure works is we usually get units straight from the factory, like before they're officially signed off on. So we call them pre-production units. So I've had actually you can see the old trustworthy pre-production unit is right over there. He did his job. He's been great. I put him through a lot. And so the one in front of me is what we call a mass production unit. So this is the same unit that users will get when they purchase one. But what that allows me to do is just spend a lot of time. And I do it. I'm on the beta testing team. So I work out features and put feedback in the forums, but I'm also on the marketing team. So I really spend a lot of time getting to know it. So all that to say, I'm going to just talk through the high level, what's new, and then kind of just add a little commentary on what I really enjoy about it. So first and foremost, as you can see, it's white. We've already touched on that, and the nice white finish. It is it's almost like a powder coated. I don't know what the technical term is, but on the side, you can't see from this angle, but the black logo on the white just really pops, and everything else pops. All the buttons, they just look so much cleaner on the white. So I really enjoy the white. But to get into the new features, one of the things you'll notice, first and foremost, up in the upper corner, we have replaced the old touch strip with the new, we call it the secondary performance pad mode section. So these are secondary performance buttons. And what they do is they allow you to access all your pad modes up in the corner, the first 4 slots of each mode, just by holding mode and tapping, the particular pad mode you want to access. And so there's hot cue, scratch bank, sampler, and stems listed on top. And on the bottom, we have beat jump, which is awesome to have. Stem roll, stem effects, and auto loop. And so to access the bottom, you just have to hold the mode button and double press. And that is one of my favorite things about this particular mode is that you can have beat jump up here. And what's really nice is it doesn't matter if you're loading a new track, that mode will stay what you selected it as. So if you wanted to have beat jump available at all times, you can set that there and you're good to go. And it's independent from the other side, obviously, so you can set a different mode over here. So that's really a nice handy feature, because then on the pads, I'm in hot cue right now, but I can split these by holding down. Let's see, I think I have a view. I can split these by holding down one mode button and then tapping the second one. So then I have sampler on the bottom and hot cue on top. So now I have on this whole side here, I have beat jump, I have hot cue, and I have sampler all on one side. And what's nice about the sampler, I might add, is that we added an external sampler knob on the front. So you can adjust the volume of your sample deck with that external sampler knob. In the past, you had to do a shift plus this encoder turn to adjust the sampler volume. Now we added an external knob. And one of the things I really like doing with Serato is when I'm on a 2-channel, 2-deck device, I'll make sure instant doubles is engaged. And then if I want to free up a third deck while still having a song playing, I'll drag that to sampler slot number 1, and then I'll fade in the volume and then drop the volume of the deck. So essentially you're instant doubling into a sampler slot, freeing up a third deck. So that's a little tip and trick to try for yourselves. I really love it if there was a key, like a MIDI function to automatically do that, but I just don't think it's possible. So that's the kind of the pad mode layout. And then also one of the things that we added on the ONE MKII that is really cool are the acapella and instrumental buttons. But my favorite feature about this, again, one of the benefits of having our beta program is this feedback was put in that beta program. So naturally, by itself, it will take away acapella or instrumental. But we added a function in the menu where I can dive in. And another tidbit, there's so much in the main menu, so you just have to hold shift. You can't see it, but I'm holding shift and press this button up here, and that dives into the main menu. For these buttons specifically, we added the function to make them add their stem effect automatically. So by default, if I'm going back over here, and I hold shift and hit one of these, it echoes out the other element, which is great and all, but that I have to use 2 hands. So in that main menu, we added the function to make it a primary function. So now it'll add it automatically. 1 hand, it echoes out the other part. So that's a nice feature, because then I already set up this side over here with 3 different pad modes. Now I actually have access to my acapella and instrumental as well, with an effect added if I want. So that mode is really cool. And personally, I would just leave that on primary, so those buttons will echo out their elements automatically. Another new thing that is really cool about this is that we've added the channel effects from the RANE Performer to the RANE ONE MKII. And that just means this filter knob, as of right now, it's off because it's not engaged. Right here. But all I have to do is press the button below it to engage it. And now we're on filter. But I can just hold shift and press that button. below the knob, and it'll cycle through. You can see it on the screen: filter, roll, noise, flanger, and back to filter. So whatever I leave it on is what that knob now becomes for both decks. So now I have a filter roll at my disposal. And then I can turn it off with a button press, so I don't have to worry about hitting that with my finger when I'm scratching on the platter. So those are the channel effects. And since we're already here, the other big thing we added, we took the internal effects engine that we kind of perfected when we added it to the 4 and the Performer, and we put it right here inside the RANE 1 Mark II. There's 29 different effects, and you can just get to them. Let me get out of the main menu. You can just hold the button down and scroll with the knob, and then you'll be able to cycle through the 29 different effects. Selected by pushing the button. So now we're on stutter out. And you can save those to the slot. And the really cool thing is that if you dial in a combination that you really like and you want to use all the time, all you have to do is just long press the button and it'll FX save to that slot. So now instead of my echo, it's now my stutter out effect. And so I have full customization over those things. And what I really like, and I've said this before on different videos, is of the effects, I really enjoy having a hold echo and a duck echo. So a duck echo, a lot of people don't realize a duck echo will, let me just zoom out. I engage it, nothing, but. So same thing with the crossfader. That duck echo will allow the crossfader to echo out. And that's an effect that a lot of people don't think RANE has. And so that's duck echo. Highly recommend checking that one out. But the one I really like, especially a 2-channel device, is the hold echo. And what I like to do with that, right now, hold echo is right here. And the beat division by default is set to 1 beat. So I like to just jump that up to 8. And then I, again, click this parameter knob. On most effects, you can cycle through whatever options you have available to customize by just tapping this parameter knob. And so now this is feedback. I'm going to bump that up to 100. And then I'm going to take my high frequency, high pass filter cutoff down as low as I can go. And so now what I have, also a little tidbit on the screen here, whatever's highlighted, that's the BPM of your effects. So it'll automatically jump to, it'll read that deck, but then I can highlight the side that I want to time the effects to. So, okay, so now this little tidbit here, we have a hold echo. I'm going to engage it. And now we basically have a live looper, so I can load up something here and do whatever I want with it. So that is a nice little tidbit, hold echo. I love to use that effect. So that's on the 4, the Performer, and the RANE 1. But back to some features that are specific to the RANE 1 Mark II that I really enjoy. We have 2 new stem modes. So we have the traditional Serato stems with the 4 parts here: vocal, melody, bass, and drums. And then the bottom are the stem effects. But we've added one called stem roll. To get to that, you just double tap the roll button. And this allows you to select the stem elements with the top. So whatever's selected is going to get a roll applied to it when I press the bottom pads. So right now, the left parameter is highlighted, so that means this is a momentary roll. But if I push the right parameter, it'll latch it on. So what that allows you to do is, again, this is a great reason to have these secondary pad mode buttons. I have my cues up here. I know my vocals there, but I'm going to go ahead and just tell this stem roll mode, I just want to do the vocal and the melody. So you can just roll, your elements. It works for drums and bass and everything too. And another little tidbit, this is, again, tips and tricks. I really like just having the vocal available to roll at any given point in time. So what I can do is access that stem roll mode in the secondary button section by I'm going to hold the mode button and I'm going to double tap this one. And so now you see it's blue or aqua or whatever. But you look down here, That's because that's the roll division. But if I want to access the stem elements up there to pick what I want to roll, I just hold shift and they turn yellow. And I'm going to unselect the bass and drums. And now I'm just going to leave that like that. And then I could just be doing whatever pad mode down here. And I have quick access to rolling the vocal. And that's a quick way to access that, that stem roll. And I can just leave that up. I mean, because to me, that's personally, I like the stem roll mode, the most of the new stem effects features. But we do also have a mode called stem effects. And that's just double pressing the stems button. And now same kind of concept. We select our parts up top, and then the bottom are different effects. So we have an echo out. So I'll just do bass and drums. Echo out. That's a roll out. Straight up breaker. And this one's a delay. And then if I push this left parameter, that just adjusts the kind of the time. So it's faster. Hit the left parameter. So that's the stem effects mode, but back to the my favorite of the two is stem roll, because personally the way I would DJ, I would probably roll drums or a vocal before I would add effects to multiple parts, because I honestly would just set that acapella instrumental echo out by default, and I would just use these buttons for most of my set. But one thing that's unique and can really open up some really cool possibilities is when you have that stem roll mode. I'm going to jump back to hot cue in the corner. So I got my cues back up here. And what I'm going to do here is jump back to stem roll. And I'm going to set it to latch on. So now I'm latched on. All right, let's get it back going. Drums and bass. I can just straight up stop the deck because it grabbed that loop. And then I could even switch it to acapella. And then now if I had different cue points set here. So you can see you can almost use that again as a live remix tool if you had to get fancy with it. That was a little rough demo, but the fact that it grabs that whatever stem element when you're rolling and it kind of keeps it in the memory, then you can just do whatever else. If you wanted to just keep that 2-beat loop going while you load up 2 other tracks, you can do that, and it's a really cool function and feature. So other than that, the other key thing be really handy for club DJs and wedding DJs and mobile event DJs too is we added the mic effects. So it's just right up top. Let me just go to that view. And we made it real simple. Mic 1 effects is on here. That used to be a tap tempo button. Now you just have to hold shift if you want to do tap tempo. And you just engage by turning it on. And it will follow the BPM of the playing deck. And then if you want to adjust that, so we have echo and we have reverb. So to add reverb, I just hold this down and use the joystick. And that filters through my functions of the mic. And then I could just also hold this down and use a parameter knob to adjust the feedback or the delay of the effect. So I can really dial it down to make it just a subtle reverb, or dial it way up, super huge hall reverb. And the same goes for the echo, that it just adjusts the depth when you turn this knob. So you can adjust the effects there. And then other than that, it's all the same goodness as the original RANE 1 as far as build quality. And the inputs and outputs are one thing that I'm so glad that they're the same, because even just doing these live streams and things like that, having all these inputs and outputs and routing options are super handy. And so also in the main menu, you have routing options for your mic. And that's why I can apply echo to the mic, is because I have it routed into the RANE 1. But then I also have in the mic section, I have routing to the computer turned on. So I can adjust the mic to have it routing to the computer, yes or no. I can have it going to the booth monitor, yes or no. And I can have it even going to the headphones, yes or no. So it's a lot of options inside that main menu, a lot of magic just by holding shift and pressing hardware software effects. Dive in there and dig around. Oh, and I'm kind of a simple kind of DJ. So I think I would say it's definitely one of my top 3 likes about the RANE 1 Mark II. are the up faders, because these are completely new to the RANE 1 Mark II. They're the same precision field faders that we added to the RANE Performer. And I love the original RANE 1, but if you ask me what's one thing I would change about it, it would be the up faders, because they were a little too stiff for my personal preference. And I loved when we added those precision field faders to the Performer. And so they're just smooth. You can adjust the tension of them with the magnet, but otherwise they come out of the box feeling like a classic RANE mixer fader, like a 56 or 57. And the crossfader, Mag 4, super durable, super light. But we enhanced and changed the fader algorithm for all faders on the RANE 1 Mark II. And so that means they're really sharp. So you can always adjust the cut-in points in the main menu, and that just adjusts, where the sound cuts in. But what we did is we adjusted that slope of that sound. Yes, there's a contour knob on the front, but we made it so that basically it's like 0 to 100 instantly. There's no, millisecond fade in time at all. And so this is probably, I would safely say, the sharpest RANE fader ever. And so that is one of my favorite things. Up fader and the crossfader, to me, as a kind of old school DJ, you nail the platters and you nail the faders. The rest is just bonus. So, and there are a lot of bonuses on this, but it really hits those core elements and does a very good job. So yeah, so that's my ramble on the RANE 1 Mark II. Great device. Happy to talk more, take questions, whatever we need to do, Ty.
I'm just the amount of control and the ability to, I don't know. It's I've read about it. I've understood it. Wow, laptop earthquake. But seeing like you, who's clearly been involved since day zero, the amount of customization is crazy. And the fact that it's split between the right and left deck is amazing. It's fantastic. Somebody had asked about your little instant double trick. Do you have it all set up where you can show that real quick?
Yeah, I could totally do it. I am just going to, you might have to talk amongst yourself because I have to reach over to the laptop, which is over here. And so I'm going to go top down so you don't have to look like my bald head is not completely blinding everybody when I get close to the camera. So talk amongst yourself. No, you look great. You make it look good. Yeah. All right, hang on 1 second. I'll show you guys that trick. I got to get over to this router real quick.
Yep, you got it. See all the trouble we go through to help you out, Pat? We got you, man. Ben, thanks for tuning in today. I owe you an email. I'll get back to you on mixer options, and we'll talk. I'll get a hold of you in a little bit. What's up, DJ Avenue? Nice of you to join us. Appreciate it. JJ, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, man. Who else is here that we know? Evan Clark, what's up, dude? It's been a while, man. Simeon, nice to see you. Price is $14.99. There's all kinds of buy links here in the chat. Joshua Carl's still trying to get the gerbil wheel up and running to get his internet online, but he'll join us here shortly.
Thanks for rising.
We got Roughneck in the house, obviously. Who else we got? I think that's it. What's up, Jared? Yeah, 12-inch skins. Absolutely. Jared is the man. He will help you out.
Yep. I think Jared's going to be the proud owner of the beat up pre-production unit I was talking about, so we can skin it and take pictures of it. Put it to good use. Yeah. All right. So I think I should be able to do this and show you guys what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do, you should be able to see my Serato screen, I believe.
Nope. Kevin, get me out. There we go.
All right. So we'll just, display here, obviously. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this track over to sampler slot 1, and I believe instant double should be on. So bear with me. Let's just do it over. Okay, I'll moderate volume, reaching. I'm going to make sure the sampler volume knob is down. Just drag it. See, I just drug it from the wheel up here. Sampler slot 1. And I don't know if instant doubles were going. So if instant doubles were going, Actually, it's probably just the play mode. It needs to be. We're gonna do this live. Let's just gonna do this live here.
Why not, man?
Yeah.
So this is how we do it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know why that's not instant doubling. I'm gonna figure that out and show you guys. But instant doubles should be on, and that should instant double to that slot. And then I should be able to bring up this volume knob and it would be good to go. But I'm going to figure that out. Back to the other view.
You know, it's just one of the 7,000 settings that thing has. So
I think, you know,
about 3 p.m. How you doing, man?
I used to do it with the SL3 all the time, if that tells you how old this trick is. So there might just be a quick setting in the sampler that I need to enable. If anybody knows in the chat what I'm not clicking that I should be clicking, let us know.
Bum, 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 bum. Anybody have any other questions? Please drop them in the chat.
Okay.
Really appreciate it.
Sorry, I just had to click instant doubles not on. Rookie mistake, everybody. Okay, let's go back. I'll show you guys.
We knew it was a setting.
All right. Take two. Edit that out. I know we're live, but okay, we're gonna go ahead and just drop track here. All right, sampler knob is down. I'm gonna drag it over. Up. It's working. Okay, sampler knob is down, but I'm gonna just fade it in. Hear that phaser effect?
Yep.
And now the top deck is off. So then I can just take whatever on here.
Yep.
And then you basically have a third deck. And because I have that external sampler volume, I can just fade that out with one hand, because previously I couldn't do that because I would have to two-hand adjust that sampler volume. So a nice little trick. Make sure your instant double is checked inside Serato settings, and then just drag your deck over to that slot one of your sampler and then fade that knob in, and then you have a third deck. So what we essentially have, we said it's a two-channel, two-deck device. We're really, I mean, I'm going to say it's a 3, 4, 5, channel device at this point, because you have some options with the stem roll and you have some options with that sampler that external knob allows you to do.
Very cool. Jake, we were just talking about dating yourself, talking about the SL3, right?
Well, I thought you were talking about the bald thing, but yeah, that too.
If you go and check out our YouTube channel, there's some videos of me of a lot younger version with a whole lot more hair. So, but I'm going to go ahead and date myself. I got the first SL1 box from AGI Pro DJ before I was AGI Pro DJ, and the old version of AGI Pro DJ. For those of you who don't know, we were the original hosts of the old ScratchLive.net forum, and we started the first Serato community online. Trips up to Mukilteo to visit Mike May to take a look at the TTM57 SL, and then the SL2, and then the SL3, and the SL4. There's a lot of history with RANE and AGI Pro DJ. So this brand means a lot to us and to me, and it's exciting to see that you guys have really kept the essence and the DNA of the company. So, because the history with RANE for me and with AGI Pro DJ goes way back. So this is just exciting to see. I mean, if you'd have asked me however many years ago when the SL1 came out, like, would there be a device that would allow me this level of control of my music? Right? Like, this is awesome. What a time to be a DJ. Like,
really.
I don't know. You got to be an old head. You got to be an old dog like me to really appreciate it. But the power that these devices have and the software, this is just awesome. So
yeah, just unlocks.
I'm done fanboying, but yeah, that's a little AGI history, and this is just cool. It's super cool.
Yeah, and I'll fanboy right with you because I was watching you when I was just doing podunk weddings in rural Missouri and rural South Dakota, and I just got Scratch Live for the first time with SL1, and I'm like, oh my god! I was saying, like, this is incredible, like, because I don't have to burn CDs for gigs anymore, and like I was just, but same thing. I was like, we were in the trenches back then, where it's like, I don't know how to do this. What about this? How to do a loop? You know, and that's where like Agiprodj DJ was the resource. Like every video, besides stuff from Serato, where they would people would giggle because of the way they say 2-3 decks, but we won't get into that. But you with yours,
I can say it, Dick.
Yeah, yeah. That New Zealand accent gets you every time,
right? That New Zealand accent.
Yeah, but yeah, you guys were all over it, and it was just like hard not to just admire the effort you guys put into educating the DJ community. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm fanboying. Like, who thought I'd be here showing you a product? Like, you're the one that's supposed to show me products.
I appreciate that, man. And it's I have been out of the studio for probably a little longer than I should have been, and as evidenced by some of the stuff that we've been working on, there are videos that are in the can of products that aren't even on the site yet. There are demo pieces that we're waiting on from other brands. There's, Jake is going to send me that ONE MKII that's sitting in front of him. He just doesn't know it yet, so I can shoot some more video. But I'm, hopefully you guys can pull some levers. I don't like getting stock and then having to burn a stock unit to shoot video. So
yeah, we'll work
don't
it
make
out.
Me do that.
We'll work it out.
Stefan, yeah, shout out to Mike May, right? Mike is Mike's just Mike, dude, right? Like, Mike May's just Mike. So do you want to do a couple questions while we're, maybe Josh will be on?
Yeah,
if we can catch him.
Let it rip.
Carlos asked, I have a question. In the Mark I, the platters have the silver ring and it rubs pretty aggressively against the disc. Has that been smoothed out or improved?
Well, I will show. Let's just take a look here. So the platters are the same. So if there was something with the Mark I, it's probably on the Mark II because we didn't want to change the platter. But the what you're referring to is this ring here. I'm sure it's a little bit of a raise because just the structure of the platter. And so right now it doesn't really bother me. It's weird. I'm in Florida, so depending on the humidity, sometimes it does bother me, sometimes it doesn't. But right now it's pretty nice. So, but if there was, let's see if I have one on this side. I don't. In the packaging, there's a little envelope of washers, and the deoxit fader lube is in there. What you do, what you're experiencing is because your disc should be raised up a smidge with one of those washers, and that's why there's 4 washers in there. So what I'd recommend on your RANE I, I believe that had washers too, because we had them with the 12s. But you just put one over your center spindle, then put your slip mat back on, and then put your disc back on. And then what that does is it raises, we're talking like a millimeter or 2, raises that up so that you have less friction all around. Either that or just put on some like butter rug slip mats, and you have, if that's your preferred feel, then you can make it more slippery. But by stock, some DJs may prefer a little less spin back, so that's why there's options there. But yeah, definitely try that, and that might be remedy what you're experiencing.
Oops, this is why I don't drive. Help me, Kevin. You're my only hope. Roughneck said, will the new stem modes be dedicated to the ONE MKII, or will they be eventually added to the 4 and Performer via firmware updates?
That's a good question. I couldn't tell you on that. Maybe if future requests come in left and right, we'll add it. Just like that crossfader algorithm I was talking about. We the beta testers on the Performer suggested it as well. And that came in a firmware update. And same thing with the, what I was showing you with the menu option to make the acapella and instrumental buttons automatically echo out with one, press. We actually brought that in the last firmware update to the 4 and the Performer, based on some discussions we were having in this beta forum. And so like, hey, we can do that on the 4 and Performer now. And so, yeah, it's not unheard of to cross things over, but I couldn't tell you on the pad modes and things like that if that's on the roadmap or not.
Cool.
But it should be possible.
Fingers crossed. That would be really great. I know that it's not like you want to isolate another product because you're trying to sell a bunch of ONE MKIIs and you're only going to leave those features on there. But, it's a bit of work to engineer internal software from, one device to another. But,
yeah,
I'd be surprised if it couldn't be done, but let's hope it can. So. Yeah,
things like like on the 4 and the Performer, we have stem split. That only makes sense on a 4 channel controller, right? Because right. So things like that wouldn't come to this. But this, like for example, I didn't show it, but we did add the fader effects to this, and so we have, it's crazy the amount of stuff we just put in here. So right now I'm on a tone generator, but I can select my root note, I can select my wave type. And I can even select my octave. And I can even select my scale. So we'll do a major scale. Volume knob here. So I mean, things that, like we were saying earlier, Ty, about the technical, the volume of bells and whistles that are available at a DJ's disposal now. It's just unreal. So yeah, those fader effects are included. And there's things like, I think if I were picking a fader effect that was probably the most kind of practical, it's like the roll. I mean, that's a cool effect.
Oh my God, that's cool.
Isn't that cool? Like, if you want to see a masterclass in that, we initially added those fader effects for the A-Track 70, and A-Track did his routine to launch it. Man, he does some crazy stuff with those fader effects. But if you go and watch that, those same fader effects are the ones that we put in here. I mean, even things like the pitch, like. You can even layer them up. You can do filter roll. So I mean, so much that you could do. But yeah, and the thing is with the fader effects, a little trick that you should know. And we definitely talk about it in the manual, in the user guide, and in the overview video that we did. But once you engage a fader effect, so if I have this one set to fader pitch, because due to the nature of the effect. When I engage it, the volume of the channel is going to jump to 100, like the slider was all the way to the top, no matter where it is. So right now, I'm down here, and I select my fader effect. It jumps to 100 because some people might want to start the fader effect at the bottom. So we also give the option, if you aren't familiar enough with it yet and you're scared that you're going to accidentally assign a fader effect, you can just go straight into the menu, and you can just go to an option that we call fader effects. You can go to that and you can just set it to off, and then they're not even available to select anymore in my menu. So that can't accidentally put a fader effect. That is just an option we added. So if DJs weren't comfortable enough yet, they can just disable that. Or on the flip side, if you're like, where are my fader effects? Then maybe you accidentally disable them in the menu. You can just go in and re-enable.
Turn them back on.
Yep.
A couple more questions. You want to do these?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Joseph also asked, how many ways can you access stems? There's a lot on this one.
Yeah, I think the official answer is 5. So I didn't even show you one of them. Shame on me. But one of them is we'll go over here. I won't demo them all again, but we do have acapella and instrumental buttons. That's number 1. Number 2 is the classic stems pad mode right here. Also available up here. Number 3 is the stems roll mode that we talked about. And then number 4 is the stems effects mode. And then number 5, and I can't believe I didn't talk about it already, is the stem level EQ. And so to enable that, I just hold shift and I press one of these headphone cue buttons. Again, on most RANE products, anything you see under the button is a shift function. So if you look at those buttons, it says stem level. So I press that, it starts to blink. And now my EQ knobs are no longer EQ, they're stems. But what makes this really cool is you can boost, a certain stem element or reduce it. So if I want more vocal and less drum, I can just kind of dial it in there. And then once I exit the stem level EQ mode, I'm gonna exit it. So then I almost like re-engineered that track. Now if I just put everything back to 12 o'clock, that track, now I can adjust the bass, mids, and highs of that track, but the stem elements are all kind of still at their level that I set. So then I can just go back in if I ever want to change it. It's blinking. Start cutting and adding. So yeah, so you have a lot of options. It's really cool. You can actually see the stem buttons respond to my knobs.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Last quick question, and then we got Joshua Carl in the house.
Hey.
Lever 412 said, does the echo out on the microphone link to the BPM of the song you are playing? Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
And then another little tip for the audience. So if you're have a bunch of scratch samples or something like that, and you want your echo of this side to match your tempo on that side, it's going to be hard to see. But right now this is 100 beats per minute, and this is at 90. And so if I were to engage, echo,
oh yeah, no worries. Yeah.
If I were to engage echo, it's going to follow that 90. But if I just hold shift, you can't see me holding shift, and just tap the joystick over, it brings that BPM over. And so then if I'm scratching at things like that, this side is going to be at that beat division. So whatever my track is that I'm scratching over, whatever scratch track I'm playing, now the effects will time out to the same BPM because I just copied it over. So yeah, so that's going to be where your mic, so whatever you select with a joystick for your BPM, that's going to be what your mic times out to as far as the echo.
Cool. Guys, keep the questions coming. We will do another round of Q&A here at the end, but I'd like to welcome Joshua Carl. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, can you hear me? I haven't messed with any of this stuff in a long time, so I'm not sure if everything is where it needs to be, audio, video-wise.
I can hear you, and I can see you.
Okay, good. Then everything's working. I wasn't sure. The other thing was I forgot how to, it's how long it's been. I forgot how to route my OBS audio out through the virtual plug into StreamYard as the source. So I was just sitting there going, well, I guess we're just not going to do that. So I have been watching. So I mean, you did an amazing job as expected, walking through this thing. So anything else I can bring to the table to tell you guys about what my experience has been with this for the last, what's it been, like 8 or 9 months, I think, maybe. I don't remember when I got it. It seems like I've had it for so long that I forgot when I got it.
Yeah. Do you want to just take over, Josh? I'll just solo you, and you can jump on the soapbox and let her rip.
Sure. So I have had this for almost a year. I've been using it out under the actual proper sort of environments where there's no cameras. So like a lot of, ironically, mobile events like weddings and things like that, because those folks don't know or really care about what's happening. But coming over from the RANE 1, and I have a performer as well. So I spent the last year kind of forcing myself to play out of my comfort zone on this, because there are so many sort of like, I don't want to say new, but elements that we haven't seen in other units yet. we finally removed the strip search, which was, even when the one came out, I was kind of like, guys, who's strip searching? Like, is anybody doing that? It's real estate. We should definitely utilize it. They came up with this. It's been amazing. And like I said, going back and forth with the Performer, 4 channels and a completely different layout. It's kind of in my head, put me in a place where I'm like, I now have the right tool for the right job on any given night. And I also use multiple, DJ software. So I'm constantly trying to learn other softwares just so I can be ready, or I actually like the challenge. Like, I've been using Serato since the 2006, and I feel like I know it in and out. And, it's like anything. Like, you can only play Super Mario Brothers so many times before you're like, I'm going to go to World 2-1 and start to, or 1-2 and try to get into the, the other world, because I'm bored with it. I figured out the game. I figured it out. I've been using it so long. So I started using Algorithm a little bit. I started using Virtual DJ a little bit. I even used Rekordbox for a little bit. And what I can tell you is jumping back and forth between these 2 units. They really are like, not that everybody should go out and buy 2. That's not what I'm saying. But you can really figure out which one suits you best. Like, I think I heard somebody mention the fader on this is probably the sharpest fader I've ever touched on a RANE ever. Like, and I'm going back to the TTM 54i. That was my first RANE unit, was that little 2-channel battle mixer. It's insanely sharp from the moment you get it. Like you said, out the box, it's just super sharp. The up faders obviously upgraded. That was like one of the biggest complaints about the One, was that the up faders were sort of like less than when it comes to quality and performance. So they put them in the side too, which is nice. I'm not a big up fader cut kind of person. I'm more like, when I'm mixing, I leave it in the middle, and I'm more of an incremental sort of person. So if anything, I'm going to actually have these a little bit more snug, a little bit more resistance, because when I'm blending, I like sort of having that real infinite sort of tactile control over my blending, which leads us up here. I mean, there's nothing to really change here. I'm not going to go over the EQ section. We know what that does. Although, if you haven't used the Performer, or you haven't used this, having the stems on the knobs, if you haven't messed with that yet, it really is. If stems was a 2-handed bastard sword, stems on these EQs is like a surgeon's scalpel, if you can kind of put together that metaphor. The infinite control of these knobs over the stems elements, as opposed to just on and off, is really, really nice, especially when there's been times where I've dumped into an acapella and the acapella isn't exactly what I wanted. So I'll jump over to here, and I'm able to actually maybe bring just a bit of the melody in where some of that vocal is actually existing, because the stems aren't perfect. And, there's obviously been back and forth about which stems product and which operating system and which DVS is the best one. I think Serato's up there. I think them and Algorithm are kind of going back and forth for number 1, 2 spot, depending on what releases you're using. But there's been tracks where I dump into the acapella and I lose too much of the vocal. So you come back in, you jump into stems here, and you can give a little bit more of the melody and then boost a little bit more of the vocal, and it will fill out just a little. The other thing I do oftentimes is I'll throw reverb on a acapella that's not where I need it to be, because in the moment, you're not going to backtrack and pull it out and go, no, we're abandoning that idea. So that's something that's really, really nice to have if you haven't messed with the rotary-based application of stems yet. The platters, I definitely like them. They're an upgrade from the MK1. I don't know if it's just the locking mechanism or the slot that it goes into. I don't want to say I was having problems. That's not the term, but I was oftentimes basically at a gig. I would have to, let me show you here. I would have to take this and actually like pull it up just a little bit, and then you get too much. And then you get a spin back like that, which, I mean, unless you're doing, 32 beat count juggles, you don't really need that. So now it kind of fits right in the slot, right where it's supposed to be. And you get a good rotation. If you're playing a song, it's not crazy, but it's enough to pull off a juggle. You can get 2 rotations out of it easy. And cutting is obviously really, really, really nice. What else can I tell you? He went through all the effects, man. This thing is effects heavy.
I have a question, Josh.
Shoot, good.
Being a video DJ, how do you like using the Mark II from a video DJ's perspective?
Well, having extra things to map is sort of like the way to goose the video DJ, because and most people that do video are either entertaining another device, whether it be an iPad or a MIDI controller, or they're actually just firing things off on their trackpad on their Mac. So any buttons that you have left over here that you can map are huge, because, you know, I don't know about you guys, I generally don't use sensor. And the load prep button, this is just a sort of like, so what I'm looking for. I made my claim that I did not like the button version. So they added like the shift load prep, which is nice, but I actually just remapped that to instant doubles, because I found if you're using the prepare box, and let's just say you left your cursor in the prepare box, when you double click on one of these, the instant double, if you don't do it lightning fast, like as fast as humanly possible, it will briefly load that track from your prepare box and then replace it with the double. So your prepare box can disappear if your cursor is in there. So I basically just remapped the load prep button or the back button, because again, I don't know about you guys. I don't know a lot of people that use back. So, I mean, if you're miles away from your computer, but the way I play, I generally don't use it. So I just remapped that to instant double. So now instant doubles is one press. It's never going to take my prepare box. I also remapped the channel effects because I don't really use those too much either yet. It's something that a lot of my gigs, I'm not really doing that sort of like showmanship showroom floor sets. You know, it's a lot of like really, really strong mixing, really good cutting, and good song selection.
You're just throwing down a vibe for the room, right?
Yeah, I mean, most of the gigs that pay me. Yeah, most of the gigs that pay me, I'm trying to do the best for the client, and sometimes it is a fair amount of that. But I'm not going to, ride a sine wave tone and do some weird things like that. I love them. I'll never put my foot in front of innovation, because that's what breeds creativity. But at the same time, if there's a button there and I'm not going to use it, it's getting used. So I remapped it to random transition and mix emergency, so I can just rifle through transitions. I usually just instinctively hit it on beat. So like during a video transition, I'll have my fader in the middle, and I'll just, every bar just hit that, and it'll change the transition. So that way, every single time something happens, every measure, like the video transition changes. So there's elements too. You can set up other things. Like I know Soren DJ Neros actually prefers like the auto fade. And I think he has a button set to auto fade because he doesn't like the jerky nature of it. If you're cutting, some of the transitions are a little jarring, especially if you're on a massive screen. So he likes like the smooth transition of a video. So that's just one way to, execute that. There's obviously tons of modes and tons of layers. My brain doesn't really work in layers, so I've always been susceptible to only using like the sort of like default stuff on top.
Like
only in the past 2 years have I started like going into like level 2 of some of these buttons. So that opens up all those pads for mapping things with video.
I mean, you can fire off like video sample decks.
It's the sample player. Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, you can link everything to your sample player. And then of course you have your sample player volume on the front, which if you've never used a mix emergency, you can actually map all these knobs in the mixer settings to actually natively fire video effects with these knobs. Now, not to get too much into a mix emergency, because that's not what we're doing here today, but if a lot of people take their bass out, or a lot of people add filter, you can go in and tell it that this filter knob is going to add, a saturation. So when you turn it right, it'll get super colorful. When you turn it left, it'll get super grayed out, whatever you want to do. Same with the bass knobs, same with the sampler knob. You can nut all those knobs to actually fire video effects. So it just makes it a little bit more interesting, especially if I personally don't like adding things when I'm playing. I'd rather just sort of set them up to do what I feel looks best in a show and then just leave them. Unless, again, like you said, the one thing I think as well as I do, years of going to DJX and NAMM and stuff like that, a showroom floor, a showcase set is completely different than what most of us do on the 21st of September. It's a wedding night for somebody. And, I'm not downplaying anything that we do at those shows, but we work really hard to put together a set utilizing all the features and stuff like that. And then when it comes down to it, the events you're using at, sure, we do a lot of that stuff and that's what gets us booked. But at the end of the day, like, sound quality out of the unit is unmatched. There's something I haven't really heard too many people talk about is the footprint of this mixer. So we have, at Profound Groove, we have a Modern Console Neo 3, we have a Humpter B3, and we have a couple of those sort of like fold out Odyssey, and I think we have a Rockville fold out, like little booths for small setups and, the corner of a cocktail lounge or something like that. This, because it's so much shorter and like the width is obviously smaller, it allows you, and it has feet. It allows you for much better wire management. Like it's much easier to like snake these wires under the unit and come back on your side. So when people view the unit from the other side, it's clean. It's not like, a lot of us we have a lot of tricks to hide wires from like the dance floor audience at a wedding or an in-store, like a high, like we just booked one for someone at Starbucks or something like that. And they were all about like, they actually said wire management, like, and I was just like, wow, you don't really hear someone booking a DJ for an in-store event say wire management unless they had somebody before that was shit. So, but given the short nature of this particular unit and the feet, it allows you, like the one, to snake the wires underneath and just, be a little bit more presentable. I will say, as a big guy, it took me a little while to get used to the smaller footprint, but once I did with the MK1, I love it. You do feel sometimes a little busy, right? Like right in here, especially when this starts getting in the way. But for the most part, do a couple sit-ups, you'll be all right. You can. That's the complaint that I have heard from people like who haven't touched it. These are people who haven't touched the unit that just see it and go, "Oh, it's so busy, it's so small, there's so much going on," and it's just like, yeah, man, like. A piano has 52 keys too. Like you're not gonna, you don't play only in the middle. You utilize the whole thing. Explore the studio space. So,
what's up, Mojax in the chat? Horns up emojis for Mojax.
Chris doesn't have those problems anymore.
No,
jealous.
Let me see what else we got. Looks like Mojax is going to join us here in a moment as well. Nice. That's cool. Yeah. What else, Josh? Anything? Let me see here. DJ Demand said controlling stems with the knobs is a great option to have. I agree. That's that ability to fine tune the gain on a plus or minus level is, like you said, Josh. It's not an absolute anymore. It's not a 0 or a 1. You've got some control. And that's killer.
Yeah, 100%. Especially like if you're a blending DJ, or if you're, there's a whole, for the last 12, 15 years, there's a whole community of DJs that have lived and died by their blends. And some of them are amazing, and yeah. So, but now I think one of those elements that made a nice blend from being like, oh, that's pretty cool, to like, oh man, that sounds like it belongs there. Like you can do that now, like with knob-based control.
Yeah.
Again, it's just new doors are being opened, which, somebody more creative than us will come along and put something out there. Like, remember the first time we heard tone play, people were like, oh, you can do that. And now here we are, 15 years later, like, between tone play and wordplay, we all know what it is. So somebody will come up with something and we'll all kind of have our hair blown back, and then it'll become a sort of standard. Oh, do you do this, the stems, whatever you want to call it, whatever the innovation might be. I will say having the two separate buttons is like I said, because of layers, that's kind of where I was going with that. Because I don't do layers, having the buttons there has been great. And I also tend to keep my hands up in this department a lot more when I'm like in blending mode. So being able to just hit cue points here and, I also like my stems. My favorite effect in stem is the platter stop acapella out, which is that button right there. Not that you can hear it, but that's been my go-to, as well as the acapella echo out with the beat remains underneath. So being able to hit these up here and then come down and affect those there has been amazing. The other thing that this isn't so much a RANE thing, but it is a Serato thing. And I know it's been talked about, they really fixed their effects, and now you can swap between hardware effects and software effects with one button. There's no shift clicking or anything like that. So I can immediately go in, and it would be nice if this did show the names. Maybe Jake, maybe we can get them to do that rather than just show software effects. But they added, after a long wait, and those guys who know me, I waited so long for them to bring back rollout. I'm not lying when I tell you, once a year, I begged Serato, hey, when are we going to bring roll back out from Scratch Live? And they're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll get there. Meanwhile, here's some donut stickers. I'm like, no, I want rollout. And that goes back to like 2013. And then
you'll take the stickers and like it.
Exactly. Like, you're lucky you got those. I was like, hey, it's another year. We're going to get rollout back. No, we don't know. The way my checking account is set up and, savings and everything, we don't know. And then last year, when they did that massive revamp of the effects, if you haven't explored the effects yet, do yourself a favor, set aside an hour on your couch and just start exploring them, because they've added so many different parameters that you can control. One effect is completely different depending on which parameters you choose. Now, rollout was one of my favorites. It's kind of tacky and goofy, and everybody used it almost as bad as like reggae horns, but I loved it. It's sort of single a time in Serato for me where I was having a lot of fun with effects. So the fact that they brought it back and I can just hit this and know that it's always in this bank right here, and I'm able to use it again easily. That's the thing, easily. Like, it's one thing, shift, click, blah, blah,
my brain
blah,
doesn't work like that.
Mine either. So just one button back and forth is amazing. And it remembers where you were. So like Jake had, I have duck echo on this one, and then regular echo on here. The other one I really like is stutter out. There's multiple versions of it, and I don't use it a lot, but it is a nice, cool little predetermined roll that changes its increments. So you can pick through, I think there's 9 or 10 of them, and they all add a different, depending on the length, they add a different stutter. And then you can like stutter, then platter stop. It's a kind of a cool way. Like if you're doing a massive BPM change and you don't just want to scratch and drop or just want to echo, you can, do a stutter out, platter stop, echo track. It's a little bit more of a sort of call to action than just sort of the old way. So make sure you check out stutter out. It is a really cool effect that's in the hardware on this unit.
I think we might just want to do an effects clinic with you sometime, Josh.
Sure. After I just told everybody I don't use them.
Right.
I do explore them. Every single one I sat down with, and I went through and I turned every single knob, just seeing what could get sound wise. So it's a lot of fun.
Mojax, how are you, sir?
What's up, man?
Good evening.
Yeah, we're getting that intercontinental
Hello,
delay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I won't hang around because I'm on my phone.
And he's gone.
And on cue. Echo
What
out.
happened? Did the tariffs shut him down? What happened? Good Lord.
He's uploading all these videos a day. His internet can't handle it.
Yeah, he's gone. Oh,
He's
back.
putting up all that sweet new Beatport remixes.
Yeah.
Yo, can you hear me now?
Hey,
Yo.
there we go.
Yes, sir.
Okay. look, I'm not going to hang around because I'm on my phone. It looks like I'm filming on a potato. It looks like an original Agiprodj DJ video for like the first 2 years of the channel.
The old
But yeah,
potato
I just
cams,
wanted to
right?
stop by quickly and say, obviously, yeah, exactly. That's how your videos used to look. So I just want to say, yeah, obviously, salute to RANE for this incredible device. I said in my review that my email to Jake literally did say no notes, and that's true. I had no notes. Like I had nothing. At the end of my demo, if you watch, I'm actively looking for stuff to criticize, and I can't find anything to criticize. I have nothing bad to say, and I know Cleveland Terry said the same thing. Like there's nothing bad to say about this. It's an epic device, and yeah, an absolute success. So congrats on that. Big up Video Geeks for life. I'm going to go to the gym now because I had to put 2 videos out today and it's nearly killed me. But yeah, much love. Agiprodj DJ, RANE, Josh Carl, all the gang. I'm going to peace out with my potato cam.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, Mojax. The old potato cam. We were actually so Kevin started a new series we've been doing, Flashback Fridays. So he's been digging up old Agiprodj DJ videos and resurrecting them. And oh, good Lord. 320 by 240, 640 by 480. And at the time, you're like, damn, that looks pretty good. Wow.
It's funny how, like, especially in our industry, that's sort of like par for the course. Like there's always a carrot at the end of the string for us. Like, oh, look at that. Like you can do 720 now, but you need a really crazy computer to do it. And it's just like my phone does 4K, like all in what, 10 or 12 years. It's insane.
Yeah. Do you guys remember
my
the
phone does 4K and simulated, auto depth that I can just tap between subjects like I actually have a DSLR in my pocket. So
the old do you remember when it came out? I can't remember what it was called, but it was all in one, and it had like USB drive that's flipped out of the side, had the screen on the back. It was just like a 720 recorder. It looked like I wish I could. That thing just like changed the game, because when we were doing, everybody's doing like gig logs, like, hey, everybody, the internet wants to see me mix a wedding for an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, it was like it was a handheld, right?
Yeah,
like
handheld. It was like blue. Yeah,
yeah, it had one
cam.
name. I forget what it was, like a flip cam. Yeah,
yeah.
Flip cam. Kevin just said it. It's a flip cam.
Flip cam. Yeah, that was awesome. It fit perfectly. I had like I think I had EV Gladiator top speakers at the time, and it fit perfectly in the handle at an angle where I could like film the. I was like, yes, this is awesome.
Yeah,
those videos are still
around
up
here. I have a Zune. I don't know where it is, but I have a Zune. So,
wait, like an old Microsoft Zune?
The initial Microsoft competitor to the iPod. Yeah.
Isn't the UI on that gorgeous? Like all the text transitions and everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's just kind of like the world was like, nah, we don't like it.
Yep. They're like, nope, I don't think so.
Yep. We want white headphone cords.
Yeah, and we want to have to change our I/O every 3 years.
Oh, good Lord. Don't get me going. Last call for questions on the ONE MKII. Anybody? Anyone?
I do have something.
Roughneck, you need to dig your flip camera out. We're going to do a little video on that and resurrect it.
We should. There was one thing that Mr. Joshua Carl brought up that I wanted to just touch on as far as customization. I missed one pad mode feature that is hidden in plain sight. Well, actually, it's not in plain sight. It's very hidden. But if you hold shift and press the hotkey mode selector button, this is a fully MIDI assignable pad mode. So you have 8 slots here. On the Performer, I would map that to sound switch and things like that, like play pause and different things. But now that there's a secondary pad mode up there, you can map those to whatever and access them down here again by just holding shift and pressing the hotkey. Yeah. So you got 8 slots right there.
I forgot about that, actually.
Simeon asked on YouTube, is it heavier? It weighs almost the same, doesn't it, Jake?
It's about the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's like almost exactly the same. We updated the tech specs for all the materials, and then shout out to Jason on the product team. He's like, nope, it was like half a pound different. I mean, I don't even know. Maybe the extra buttons added, 2 ounces or something like that. But yeah, it's like the same weight.
To give you some reference, I have the Jetpack Glide for both the Performer and for the ONE, and I literally have to open them sometimes to see what the difference is, because I know the Performer's a lot heavier, but once you get it in the Glide, like I don't know which one's which anymore.
Nice. Any other questions? Joseph had asked, are the knobs on the front any tighter? Are they all pretty much the same knobs, guys?
They do not fall off. I can tell you that. That was one of my gripes with the One, is that my crossfader contour knob was constantly like sliding off, and maybe it was because I, had Thor hands every single time I tried to turn it. But these don't go anywhere, and they are sort of different across the board. They're not all the same exact knob.
Cool.
Oh, something else they kept. You probably mentioned this, Jake. I love, and I wish everybody else would do this, the fact that it has XLR out for the booth. All my other units, I have to carry a quarter to XLR male, because anytime you're plugging into a booth anywhere, they're always expecting a 1/4 inch. So no more lugging those around. It's always just XLR out, which was on the One too, but I'm just glad they kept it, because they didn't do that on the Performer. The Performer is still line out, or whatever it is, 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch, yeah. But the One has XLRs, correct?
Right, it's for both, which is amazing.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, we are way over the hour goal that I was shooting for, but we've had some awesome guests, little fly-by Mojax. Josh, I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, I literally lost internet yesterday, and I'm like, you guys need to get here before 11. And the guy's like, yeah, we'll be there before 11:30. He got here at like 12:30. So
I made it. Anyway, we really appreciate everybody joining you today. If you're looking to pick up a ONE MKII, please pick it up from Agiprodj DJ. We'd appreciate it. If you're not going to shop with me, at least buy from a small business. That's all I ask. That's my ask. Buy from a small business. But if you're looking to pick one up, wait. My camera's mirrored. They're there or there. Yeah, there you go. Marcus, what's map price? $14.99. Free shipping. agiprodj.com. There's a banner right on the homepage. And yeah, Josh, I want to circle back with you. I think it would be really cool to do like a deep dive into some of these effects. I think that would be a lot of fun, even though you said you didn't use them. That would be a fun video to bang out.
Definitely.
And then, yeah, definitely. And Jake, I would love to map something out with you to really talk about these 5 different stem control modes, which is just
cool,
just amazing. So. Anyway, everybody, thanks for tuning in today and watching. Joshua, thanks for joining us. Jake, as always, thank you. Everybody at RANE, I want to go ahead and parrot what Mojax said. This thing's amazing. I don't have a single solitary gripe about it. It's like you guys just checked all the boxes, and then you made 9 more boxes and checked all of those. So, well done.
It really did feel like a very responsive unit. Like, I mean, response to every complaint that people had about the MK1, right? It was just like, it's like they had a list and they're like, done. What else can we do?
Yeah, we obsessively watch like the head honcho CEO. We were at a kind of a marketing summit thing. He said, watch more YouTube. He said, watch more YouTube, because you need to know everything so we can incorporate it into our products and make them better. So yeah, so it doesn't go unheard. If you say, oh, Jake's cool, but he's too vanilla, I hear it and I try to improve myself. But same thing with the products. We try to, the fader, anything we make note of that. And when it becomes more than 1 or 2 people, it becomes a pattern, and we make sure we're incorporating it in a firmware update, or if we have the ability to create new hardware, we want to make the best product available and serve the DJs. And that's one of the reasons why we kept it at $14.99 as well, because we're
super
fair. We appreciate that,
now.
Right, especially right now with all the stuff happening in the global economy and whatnot, for you guys to not raise the price. Awesome. Kevin wants a scratch routine also. So.
Oh geez. Like scratch us out.
Yeah, I'll mute myself at this point.
I mean, I can do just a little something if he's serious or if he's just joking. I don't know.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and just cut us out?
Cut out. All right. I'm turning off my mic.
I'm serious.
Oh, there's that rollout.
Roll out.
Oh my God.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh my God.
So sloppy. Hope you all enjoyed that. Hope you feel better about your cuts after watching me not do awesome. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate everybody watching. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. AGI Pro DJ. If you're looking to pick one up, you know where to find us.